Hello, it's First Step Science, and today we are talking about craters. And a lot of times when we talk about craters, you think about the moon, craters on the moon. So I have a huge picture of the south pole of the moon. Isn't that cool? Look at that. You can see a real big one, and that's from the view that we don't normally see. The very bottom of the moon, the South Pole. But look at all those craters. Big ones. Boom, there's a really huge one over there. So we're going to talk about how they got there and some other places that we might find craters just besides on the moon. So I'm going to put that right down here, and we're going to make our own craters. So Earth has craters. Some of the other planets have craters, and the asteroids have craters. And the main cause of craters are something hitting into the surface of either the moon or the Earth or a planet or an asteroid. So what we're going to do is make some impact craters. Impact is another name for smacking into. So we're going to do some impact craters. So if you have a pan of flour and a dish or something to keep some different balls and marbles and rocks. I have a lot of different ones. We're going to do a little bit of crater making by dropping them into our pan of flour. So the way we're going to do that is, here comes maybe a big old space rock, and I'm going to hold it about that's about 2 feet. I'm going to hold it just a little bit off the screen and drop it into my pan and see what happens. Now, usually the flour is going to spray a little bit, so we might have a little bit to clean up later, but that's okay. It's all in the interest of making craters. So here's my marble, the first one I'm going to drop. It's kind of big. Here we go. Whoa! That is pretty cool. Well, now that you saw how I dropped that in there, I'm going to change my camera to a tabletop view so you can see what happens when those balls and marbles actually hit the surface of my pretend moon. Okay, there is my moon. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this ball and check it out. Whoa, there we go. So there's what I dropped, and look at the crater right there. Pretty good size. So I'm going to try something else. How about a great big, this is a bigger rock. I wonder what this will look like if I drop this one into my pan. I'm holding it up just like I did before. Maybe it will go right over here. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Pooh! Oh, look at that. Whoa, I'm going to pick it up really slowly. Oh, it kind of bounced. Can you see that? There's a little bit of a hit right there, and then it bounced over there. So we're getting really cool looking craters on the moon. So I'm going to take a little teeny one. This is a smaller marble, and I'm going to drop it maybe. Oh, you know what? I have a bunch of little teeny ones. I'm going to put 3 of those teeny ones in my hand and drop them all at once and see what happens. Okay. About the same height as I did before. 1, 2, 3, go! Whoa! That was an asteroid storm. So I'm going to pick those up little by little, and then we'll see what kind of craters that we made. Whoa! A line of 3 of them. That's pretty cool. Is this looking a little bit like the moon? All right, so I've got a couple of other balls that aren't so heavy like marbles. I've got a ping pong ball. So if you have something that's light, you can use that and hold it up above your pan and drop it and see what happens with a light ping pong ball. Let's find out. Boom. Oh, there we go. Picking it up. Oh, wow, that's perfectly round. I'm going to do that one again. I love ping pong balls. I'm going to do one over here. Boom. Oh, it's off the screen. There we go. And one over here. Ping pong balls are awesome. Whoa. So now I have something that's just a little bit heavier, but almost the same size as a ping pong ball. It's a rubber ball. Let's see what happens when I do that. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, it bounced. Did you see that? I'm going to do that again. Because of what it's made out of, it just bounced right on the surface and it made a couple of imprints. I'm going to do it right here. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, it didn't bounce that time, but it made a great looking hole. Whoa, it's starting to look, my moon surface is starting to look really cratery, and that time it bounced. And I have one more ball that I'm going to try out. This is a foam ball. It's pretty light. It's not as light as the ping pong ball, but it's pretty good. So I'm going to drop it right here. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Oh, it's stuck. Where did it go? There it is. Right in my pan. Kablam. I'll do that one again. Boom. Impact craters. Things like asteroids smacking into the surface of the moon. All right. So now I have, you can do that and see what you can get. I'm going to do something else too. So I'm going to take a ruler and smooth out the surface of my moon to start all over again. So there's my ruler and I'm making it all smooth right across there. Whoa, filling in the craters because I'm going to try something else. You know, I was dropping my balls from directly overhead. Oops, there. I got lots of flour over here. But what happens if an asteroid marble hits at the surface of the moon from an angle, not directly over the top, but skids across the surface? So let's see if we can do that. Here comes the asteroid right across the surface of my pan. Let's see what happens. Oh, did you see that? I kind of threw it sideways. So you can do that too. There's a great big old marble and it's a path. First impact and then it stopped right there. Let's see if I do that with a bigger rock. Okay, I got a big rock. So it's kind of like skipping stones. And so I'm going to do that one with my big rock and throw it sideways and see what I can do. Oh, it plowed into the flower. Whoa, made a bigger hole. It didn't skid like as much as the ball. Well, I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it plowed again. Wow. Pretty interesting. What happens if I do that with a ping pong ball? I'm going to throw it sideways. Oh, it rolled. Whoa, it rolled right across my pan. I'm going to do that again. Uh-oh. That bounced off the edge of my pan. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, it fell in another hole. So sometimes you're going to see on a moon map a big crater, but then maybe another little crater in the middle of the big crater. That happens there. I don't know if you can see that. Well, let's try another one. Let's do one over here. Okay, there's a big one right there. Let's see if we can do a little one right in the middle of that one. Oh, I think I did. So sometimes when you look at craters, you can see a crater inside a crater. Lots of different ways that they can happen. All right, so now I'm going to smooth out my moon surface again. Now when we look at the moon, it's kind of like a bright white surface, just like my pan of flour here. So sometimes the craters are a little bit hard to see. So what I'm going to do is, if you have some cocoa, whoops, there we go. I'm going to shake it over the top of my pan and let's see what happens when we put a little bit of dark cocoa, because you know the moon is not all the same color. It's gray, it's white. It's got dark and light spots. So I am shaking some cocoa over the top of the pan. And you can do that too if you like. There we go. Shake, 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 shake. Wow. Now let's see what happens when we drop some balls on top of that. When scientists do this, you know, the moon's surface is made out of a lot of different things. Sometimes it's dust and sand, but maybe some metals, maybe some different kinds of rock. So when an asteroid hits the moon, it kicks up all of that. And whoa, there's the dark and light spots on the moon. And so you can kind of take a look and see what has plowed into the moon and what's underneath the surface. So there's our cocoa, our dark surface, and here comes a ping pong ball. Let's see what we can do with that. Can we make it go through the dark surface so we can see the white underneath? Let's try it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoa. I'm going to pick it up. Let's see what happened. I'm picking it. Whoa, that kind of looks cool. It went right through some of the white moon dust and packed down some of the cocoa. So let's try that with a heavier ball, like this one, my rubber ball. That's a lot harder. And let's see, I'm dropping it right over here. Kablam! Oh my goodness, look at that. Whoa, see, that went right down to the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna do that one again. I like that one. Here we go. So now you can see what's underneath in different areas of the surface. Well, let's do a big old rock. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a big one. Let's see what we got if I pick that up. You can see where it was. It went right down to the moon surface dust and then the darker rocks on top. All right, let's see. I'm going to do the foam ball. Bam! Oh, that one's kind of cool. And again, whoops. Wow, I'm getting some really cool things here. And I'm going to do another big, big, huge marble asteroid. I'm making a big mess. There we go. Look at that. You can tell what's underneath the surface because when the asteroids hit, it scatters everything. And sometimes when you look at a moon map, you'll actually even see the rock spread out in rays. And I don't see any too much here in my pan, but sometimes you'll see rays where the moon surface has spread out away from the crater. Impact craters. There we go. Now here's something you can try if you have a flashlight. Now when we look at the moon, the sun is reflecting off the surface of the moon, and so I'm going to take and turn on my flashlight and make the light create shadows on the ridges of the craters. They show up better that way. So when you're looking for moon craters, you kind of look on the edges of where the sun is going across the surface of the moon, and you can see mountains and ridges because the shadows pick those up. Moon shadows on the craters, so you can see them. It makes them show up even better. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to do one more thing. Now I'm going to take and smooth it out one more time. Whoa, I think I'm mixing that cocoa in there. I might have to make some brownies with this later by adding some more cocoa. I don't know. Or I might just have to throw it out. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so there. I scraped it all nice and smooth. And what we're going to do is I have an Easter egg. Okay, these are one of those eggs that you can pull them apart and put something inside. So we're going to first, and I also have some pennies, and you can try this too at home. I have some pennies in my container. So what I'm going to do is first put my Easter egg together, and it's empty and it's pretty light. And remember that ping pong ball? It made an impression, but it didn't go very deep. So here we go. I'm going to drop it into the pan. What's my Easter egg going to make? Ooh, cool. There we go. Kind of a small one. So now I'm going to make this Easter egg heavier and heavier and heavier. First, I'm going to put 5 pennies in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And drop it again. Let's see if the hole gets deeper. Whoops, it's hard for me to mush it back together. Uh-oh. All right, come on, egg, go back together. It's not staying. Just a minute. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way. Nope, I'm doing it the right way. Just a minute. I gotta get this back together. There we go. All right, so now it's back together with 5 pennies in it, and it's heavier. I'm gonna drop it right here, probably about the same height that I did the other one, and see if the crater gets deeper. 1, 2, 3, bam! Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. It is deeper and wider. So let's add 5 more pennies and see if it's gonna get even deeper and wider than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty heavy. Let's try that. Close it back up. Whoops. Okay, it's back. Now it's got 10 pennies in there and it's heavier. So right over here, I'm gonna drop it. Let's see if we get about the same height. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, there's somebody else looking in. Whoa, it's even bigger. I don't know if you can see that, but it's even bigger, so you can try that at home. Whoa, the middle one is the little one, and that one's pretty big. Okay, so how about one more time? And then we're gonna move on to something else, because there's more than just impact craters on the moon and other planets. So here's 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa, this egg is getting really, really heavy now. I'm really surprised that it hasn't started to maybe break apart when I drop it. What do you think? There it is. Okay, I'm gonna try to make a really big one this time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, bam! Okay, picking it up slow. I really can't tell the difference between that one and that one. But if we were really, really good at measuring, I bet you this one is deeper than that one. It looks like it. It's just a little wider. All right, so that's kind of an experiment you can do yourself at home. See how many pennies you can fit inside a little Easter egg and see how the crater gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So now I'm going to smooth out my moon surface again. And we're going to try something else. And I'm going to go back to the FaceTime camera now because I want you to see what I'm doing. Okay, and I am Dusty. I am Moon Dusty. So here we go. We're going to try another kind of crater. There. Okay, so on Earth, we've got impact craters, and the moon has impact craters. And other planets have impact craters too, but they also have craters that were made by a volcano. An explosion. So we're going to make one of these, and then we're going to try it out in our pan to see if we can make a volcanic crater, because we have lots of those on Earth, and I think there's some on Mars and some other planets too. So what you need is a balloon and a straw and some masking tape. So I'm going to show you what we're going to put the balloon onto the end of the straw so tightly that when you blow into the end of the straw, it inflates the balloon. It makes the balloon go bigger. Here we go. See that? It's sort of like an air explosion. So this is how we do it. If you got a straw, grab that now and stick the end of the balloon right about an inch down over the balloon neck. See that? And then you hold it really tight. And I'm going to pick up some tape. And I'm going to kind of fold and hold the neck of that balloon all the way on the straw. And right there, see if I can hold it so you can see, right there, I'm going to start to tape that balloon right to the straw, going around and around and around and around and around and around. And at first, it doesn't look like I sealed it very good. It's kind of coming off. So I'm going to need a little bit more tape to make sure that when you blow it, no air squishes out in between the tape and your straw. So more tape. And I'm going right along the edge to make sure I'm sealing off the edge of the balloon, and I'm squeezing and squeezing and taping and taping and squeezing and squeezing, taping all around, rolling it. And so now you have a potential volcano crater maker. My first one was better. So let's see. You can always add more tape if your balloon doesn't blow up right away. So we're going to go back over to my pan and let's show you how we're going to make a volcanic crater. Here we go. Back to the pan. There we go. So there's the surface of the moon, and it's got some cocoa in it, but it's pretty smooth. And so what you want to do is take your hand and dig a little hole right down to the bottom of the pan, and then stick your balloon in the hole like that, and then you cover it up with flour. Flour, flour, flour all over the top of the balloon. See that? I buried that balloon. So now I've got the end of the straw, and I'm going to start blowing on that and see what happens to the surface of the moon when you've got a force, an explosion force on the surface. And this is what happens for volcanic craters on Earth and other planets. And it probably used to happen on the moon a long time ago, but now there's no more volcanoes on the moon because it cooled off. Okay, so I'm going to blow into my balloon thingy, my volcano maker. Here we go. Whoa, check it out. Can you see that big crater? That's pretty neat. I'm going to do that again. That was fun. All right, one more time with that. And I'm going to dig a hole all the way down to the bottom of my pan, stick my balloon in there, and then cover it up. Cover it up with moon dirt. There we go. Okay, here we go. I'm blowing it again. Check that out. That is a really cool crater. Oops. Okay, let's see if I can show you that up close. Big crater. Nice. So impact craters and volcanic craters, and that's pretty neat. So I got a question. You know, I showed you the picture of all the craters on the moon, and every time we look at the moon, we see some craters. And if you have binoculars, you can even see more craters, or a telescope, you can even see more craters. So how come we don't see craters so much on Earth? What happens? Why don't we see them? Or Mars even? Well, that's a really good question. I just smoothed out my moon surface, and this time I'm going to call it the Mars surface. And I've got a straw with no balloon on it this time. And I am going to blow into my straw and see if I can get a windstorm going. Oh, wait, first I have to put a crater there. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to use this one and drop it and make a crater. Bam! And I'm going to make another crater over here. Bam! And another crater over here. Now let's see what happens on Mars when a big old windstorm comes up. My windstorm straw. Here we go. So I'm going to blow into my straw. So it's actually atmospheric conditions and windstorms and other kinds of storms with all kinds of things that wipe out the craters. Let's see if we can do it. So I'm going to blow into my straw and see if I can blow those craters away. Sorta. Boy, did I just make a mess. It's kind of hard, but over time, with windstorms and of course other craters, other asteroids hitting, it wipes out the impressions that were put in by the asteroids. and they get smaller and they get harder and harder to see. It's erosion and wind, and not so much water because there isn't very much water on Mars, but on Earth, definitely water. If I had a little bit of water to pour over the top of this, you could see that too, but I don't have any water, but that would make my craters go away. It's erosion. Okay, so we buried the balloon and made a volcanic crater. We've been dropping asteroids on my surface the whole time. So now I'm gonna end our program today with us making some moon bread. So here we go. We can make our own craters that we can actually eat. That's gonna be fun. Here we go to FaceTime camera. There we go. So I've got, oh wait a minute, I forgot one thing. You know, people have been looking for water on Mars, and they've been looking for water on the moon. And sometimes they think that craters are the key. So if you have some sand and another pan, we're gonna make a water sandwich, an ice crystal sandwich. So put a little bit of sand in your pan, like that. Maybe water's hiding under the surface of the moon. I almost forgot to do this because my ice is over at the side of my table. Here we go. So I have a layer of sand. And so then if you have some ice, and you can put it in a Ziploc bag and smack it with a hammer to make a whole bunch of little pieces of ice. And I already did that, but you can do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of my ice layer on top of the sand. And it's so cold. So I have a lot. It almost looks like snow, don't you think? So I am putting a layer of water ice underneath all over the surface of my moon. Here we go. Oh, this is so cold. All right, so I got a bunch. I have some big chunks and I have some little chunks, and that's probably what you'll get if you start smacking ice cubes with a hammer. There we go. Look at that. So you can see I have ice. And now underneath the surface of the moon, maybe there's water. So I'm going to put another layer of sand on top of my ice layer. Maybe some water got trapped underneath there. You know, scientists could find that ice and use it for staying longer on the moon than we have before. So there we go. I'm covering up the ice. So now what happens if we start making craters? Sand, ice, sand. Let's see if we can get that crater to show up where the water is. So I'm going to take a really big rock and one of my little rubber balls, and I'm going to drop it onto my sandy moon surface with a water layer underneath. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bam! Whoa. That's pretty cool. I'm going to do this one. Bam! Oh. Now if oh wow. I just found the ice right there. When I dropped this rock, it was just barely underneath the surface of that crater. I'm going to drop this one again and see if I can find some ice. Whoa, water ice! I exposed some water ice. Yeah, so craters can uncover water ice that astronauts might need if they ever go back to the moon to stay for a longer time. There. Also, you can't see it here, but when it happens, a little bit of tiny ice crystals lift off the surface of the moon, and scientists can measure that too. There's an ice cube. I got one. So have fun doing that one. That's a really cool icy one. All right, so now we're gonna make craters that we can eat. And to do that, you need a cake pan, and you need Here it is. A tube of French bread from the grocery store. And I have sand all over my hand, so I'm going to wipe it off for a second because I don't want sandy bread, because I really do want to eat this. And this is what we're going to do. I put a little bit of grease in the pan. And I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to open the tube. Oops, maybe not. All right, I have to knock this onto something else that's sturdier. My table isn't very sturdy. Here we go. Boy, I can't open this. That's weird. All right, we're going to get out the scissors. If you're having trouble opening your can, you can always poke it. Okay, there I did. Okay. Oh, and it's squishing out. It's squishing out. Now I'm going to hit it. Boy, that is, I've never had so much trouble opening one of these bread dough refrigerated cans. Oh, there we go. I popped it. Finally. So you got some dough now. Woo-wee. I'm going to pull it out. Of course, I wiped off my hands so I don't have any more sand on my hands. And I'm going to pull it out of my tube. There we go. And I'm just going to start to squish it. Yeah. So I'm making moon bread. And if you take a look, it's kind of smooth right there. And I'm squishing it around, and I'm going to put it in my pan and spread it out. Spread it to the edges, kind of like pizza crust. This is going to be really yummy. And squishing it out, stretching it, stretching it. Whoa, it's pretty smooth. But we're going to put some craters in this moon bread. Not by dropping marbles on it, though, this time. We're just going to poke it with our fingers. But it'll get the idea. All right, so that is not stretching as much as I want it to. So I'm going to pull it and pull it and pull it. And you can do that, too. There we go. Right on top of the pan. The surface of my moon bread. Okay. Smush, 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 smush. Okay. There it is. So let's make some craters. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to start poking craters all over my moon bread. One here, one there, one here, one there. And if you have a straw, you can use that too. The end of the straw, it kind of makes better holes if you use the straw. My finger did okay. But the straw is actually making better crater looking things. Okay, so maybe instead of moon bread, this could be asteroid bread because it's odd shape with a lot of craters on it. And I'm poking holes in it, and this is going to brown up really good. So when you bake this in the oven, you're going to have really cool looking edible craters. There you go. And that is First Step Science for today, all about craters. Hope you had some fun playing along with me and doing some of the experiments, and we'll see you again next time. Something I had never ever seen before. And here's where you get to make a choice. Was it a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex? And I'm just gonna stick some pine cones in my box, and then the fun starts. I just start rolling them around. Air rushing out of the balloon is going to push that balloon up. So let's see what happens. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. So that's how rockets kind of work. We are going to build 2 different kinds of rockets today.
work on as fast as you can. Set it down and wait. Woo! All right.